Welcome to Suplah City. Hello everybody and welcome to our first ever episode of Comics on Comics, where we talk everything comics related. It's not wrestling for once because we can't be bothered. I am of course Liam Dunn and I'm here with Carmine Antonelli
How's it going, everybody?
and we have Sam Brooks as well.
Good to be here.
Now, this is our very first episode, and I thought with Fantastic Four coming out this weekend, it would be good to start off talking about the Fantastic Four movies. But before we do that, let's get to know each other a little bit better. Now, obviously, if you listen to the Suplah, you know us from our wrestling background, but maybe not so much from our comic book background. So let's talk to each other very quickly about some of our favourite comic books. Carmine, I believe you've messaged me a couple of times when you were in a comic book shop. You were looking at some comics. What are you reading at the moment? If you are reading anything, and if you're not, what is your favorite? What has been your favorite book that you've recently read?
Well, I don't have too much experience in the world of comic books, especially with physical books, but my favorite thing that I've read so far is the classic Infinity Gauntlet story.
Ah,
Uh,
fantastic! I have that myself.
yeah, and what I'm actually reading at the moment is another classic. I'm reading Batman: Death of the Family.
Oh, the Jason Todd one, where Jason Todd is murdered by the Joker. Am I correct?
No, the one where he doesn't have a face.
Oh, Death of the Family. Sorry, I thought you were talking Death in the Family.
I didn't know there were such similarly named stories, but no, Death of the Family.
Yes, Death in the Family is from 1988, I believe, where Jason Todd is murdered by the Joker.
I know
That's
of that story, but I haven't read
yeah.
it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
And when I'm
So,
done with Death of the Family, I'm going to be reading The Court of Owls and the City of Owls, the sequel.
oh, that's another fantastic one which I've got. You'll really enjoy that one. Sam, what about you?
Well, I'm more into the movie side of things, but I have actually read quite a few comic books, more specifically of The Punisher.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, interesting. Marvel. Yep.
The Dark Marvel side of things has always been very interesting to me, especially The Punisher, who is, for all intents and purposes, a regular guy struggling to make ends meet in the superhero world, and he does it in a very violent and brutal way.
Yes.
Some of my favorite
Well,
arcs include The Punisher Born, which explains the beginnings of the Punisher during his Vietnam War time. I also liked the Frankencastle arc, which has had a bit of flack from people, understandably, because it's quite silly, but I kind of like silly half the time. And just anything written by Garth Ennis in particular, I think, is good stuff.
very good.
Cool.
And I'm sure we'll be talking about Punisher when Daredevil Series 2 rolls round next year. So we will talk about Daredevil round about then, hopefully, maybe a little bit before if we have nothing else to discuss. But I am currently plowing through DC's Injustice: Gods Among Us. Yes, it is a video game, but they also made a tie-in comic book. Now, when I first heard that they were doing this, I thought it was just a marketing promotion, one of those sort of ploys, kind of like what Marvel does when a new film's coming out. They're like, "Oh, look, we have the prelude, which is like a prequel, which has nothing to do with what actually happens in the movie. It's just to earn money." But I've just finished volume 2 of Year 1. Fucking Nora, this is one of the greatest series of comic books I think I have ever read because
Wow.
it's the best way to describe it is it's as if DC took the Watchmen uh, ideology, right? The approach that Alan Moore had to Watchmen and applied it to their DC characters. It's incredibly political. Superman just becomes a nasty fucker. spoiler alert, I have just read recently the part where he basically just bluntly murders Green Arrow, just right in front of his parents.
I
Um,
gotta tell you, man, I hate Superman so fucking much. I
we
think the
know.
only times he's interesting is when he's dead or when he's evil. So
Uh,
hearing that
you
makes
would
me want to read this.
the end of can I spoil the end of Volume 2? Is that all right?
I sure.
Am I allowed? Can I if you don't want to hear what happens in Injustice Volume 2 or Injustice in general, just skip forward a little bit. But in Volume 2, what's happened is basically Batman's been kicked out of the Justice League because he doesn't agree with Superman. So as retaliation, he sends Martian Manhunter in as Hawkgirl to get some information from the Justice League. Um, but Superman discovers this and is like, right, fine, fuck it. And he threatens, he's about to reveal Bruce Wayne's, Batman's secret identity on national television. But Batman cuts all communications from the Justice League Watchtower in space, cuts all communications. So instead, Superman posts it on Twitter and Facebook, and he puts Bruce Wayne as Batman, and it goes viral. So the whole world at this point knows Bruce Wayne is Batman. And then
Wow.
they have a showdown in the Batcave, and let's just say it ends in a very similar way to how Nightfall happened.
Okay.
If you don't
Wow.
get the reference,
I think I actually want to read this now.
if you don't get the reference, Superman breaks Batman's back.
Phew.
It's always his back, isn't it?
It's his weak point. It's his weak point.
You don't say.
I do
Oh.
say. Anyway, it's definitely worth watching. Not watching, reading. It's one of the most fantastic series I've ever read. And fuck me, just no one is safe in this. They just
No, because it's fucking Superman. Like, that's why I don't like him when he's good, because nothing's a threat. But when he's the threat, that's way more intense.
I cannot tell you how many people, big superheroes, have been killed off so far. And
That
it's
is
volume 2.
awesome.
It's insane. It's definitely worth checking out. Anyway, but we're not here to discuss Injustice. I'm sure we'll discuss that at some point in length in the future. Instead, we're here to discuss Fantastic Four. I forgot the name for a second. I saved it at the end.
The four cool guys.
Yes. The average threesome. Anyway,
That sounds very familiar.
So we're gonna go in depth on your average threesome. What you're gonna want to do is
You're gonna want to have two people go at it, have one of them clap, keep them in time.
and at the end of it, Eiffel Tower. There you go. Anyway,
just high five.
just high five. Anyway,
Good job, bro.
No, that's our other spin-off where we talk about porn. Anyway, so I do not want to start off with our very first episode talking about the Roger Corman 1990s film. There's a reason why I'm skipping over this and going straight to the Jessica Alba one. Simply because the one in the 90s was not ever really meant to be seen by the public. It was bootlegged, and technically every copy is illegal. It was not meant to be seen for the general public. It was not made to be good. It was made for the copyright holders to retain the copyright from Marvel. So that's why I'm skipping over it. As far as I'm concerned, it's not a real Fantastic Four movie. It's up there with the sort of fan-made films. It's not a real one. So we're skipping over that, and we're going to the 2004 Fantastic film. Now, I'm guessing both of you have seen these films.
Indeed, the first one, which actually came out in 2005.
2005. Sorry. Wow, I've got my timelines completely muddled up there. That was a bit embarrassing. So can someone run me through the gist of the story, and those who might not have seen it, can you just run us through the gist of the story?
So, Reed Richards is going to take everyone to space and see the cool things that space can do. And the five of them go up there, and it's...
Who's the five?
Wait,
They called the
five?
Fantastic Four. Where's the five come from?
I don't remember what the fuck his real name is, because I don't keep track of these characters, but the guy who eventually becomes Doctor Doom is with them.
Victor Von Doom.
Doom.
That's his name.
His real name is basically Doctor Doom anyway, because he's Dr. Victor Von Doom, so I don't know where he got his evil name from, you know?
He's very
Yeah, God,
creative, I will say. Um, but they all go up there, and some solar flares or some shit happens, and they get radiated to shit.
Solar storm. Sorry, solar
Solar
storm.
storm. I'm sorry. And they all come back down to Earth, and they're all kinds of fucked up. One of them can stretch now. One of them's just on fire. The other one disappeared. She's invisible. One of them's made of rocks, and the other one's evil. So
Hang on, he's evil. Okay, what's his power? What's his thing?
it's like
His superpower is
His
evil.
power is the force of evil.
it's like lightning
I
based,
can
and he's
stretch. I can turn on fire. I am evil.
I can flip a
Great.
switch in my brain and be evil if I want.
Brilliant.
But it's like I don't know. It's like lightning based a
So
little
we've
bit.
discovered that Carmine's ability to tell a story isn't his highest accolade.
Some would
Um,
argue it's absolute my highest quality, but because who doesn't want to hear a story told like that?
Me? I don't.
You describe his powers.
Fucking electromagnetic interference, mainly. He can shoot lightning as well.
Yeah, that's why he's got his like metal armor skin.
Yeah, he basically fucks up electronics. He's like a magnet, but he's not a magnet.
He's Magneto, but less.
He doesn't have control over magnets.
Right,
Just electromagnetics.
right. It's weird.
And he's smart. He's super smart.
Yeah, super fucking smart. And one of the things I remember hating about this movie is the thing.
See, now,
Because
I actually enjoyed the thing here. I think Michael Chiklis portrayed him in a good way.
I just didn't like the part that was a majority of his part in the movie as the thing, where he's like, duh, I'm fucking an angsty shithead because I'm made of rocks and you fuckers didn't get made into rocks, so
but
stop.
to be fair, right? To be fair, his portrayal is kind of what would happen in real life. If I was turned into rocks, I think I would be a little angsty.
If I
don't
didn't
think
have
I'd be
any
going,
ears, I would too be mad. Lord knows what the situation is downstairs.
To be fair, I think the actor's angst is justified.
I mean, yeah, but like,
No,
oh,
for
it was
me,
so
no, for me,
boring.
no, for me. I tell you what, right? This is for me. Now, I actually, I don't know if I should admit this, but I really enjoy this movie. It's so 2000 superhero that it's beautiful. Like, it's the most cheesiest. It's not quite 1990s where it's camp. It's just cheesy, but it's a good kind of cheesy, right? It's
It's like the
it's like
gooey cheese that like, ooh, nacho cheese. I love
It's
it.
a powerful Gouda. It's nice.
it's that era where studios realize, right, okay, we don't have to make it into a comedy, but we still don't have the formula right, sort of thing. Like, it's just right at the tail end of that era, just before Batman Begins, right, where they
Right.
finally got it right. It's that sort of like the whole bit where Jessica Alba is this stunning, beautiful woman who's just chasing after this fucking nerd. Like, it doesn't even make sense that that would even be a real thing. And some of the dialogue is just beautifully cheesy. Like you remember in like I think it was in Spider-Man, it was just they had some of the cheesiest sort of lines. Like the Green Goblin was like, "Oh, what is it?
Will
Oh,
you
what is it?
join
Was
me,
it? Was it this?
Spider-Man? It's you
No, no,
who's
no.
out, Gobby.
That's
Out of your
it.
mind.
Are you in or out? It's you who's out, Gabby. Out of your mind." It's like that sort of line. Like there's a bit at the final battle where Doctor Doom is torturing Mr. Fantastic,
Yes,
and
I
then
remember this part.
Invisible Girl shows up and he's like, "Oh, Jessica. No, Sue. Sorry. Oh, Sue.
Oh, Jessica Alba.
Jessica Alba. Oh, Sue. Let's not fight." And she goes, "Yes, Victor. Let's." And then she's just bursts an energy field at him. And it's just like so incredibly cheesy. And then the Thing shows up and he's like, "It's clobbering time." Which, I'm sorry, in films just doesn't seem to work. It just comes off as hokey.
It works in comic books and wrestling, then and only then.
Yeah,
Right.
and it was. I love it because of its cheese. Is it a good film? No. But you know what? It doesn't have to be a good film. And I think also, slightly off topic, But I think if Green Lantern was released in that sort of era, it would have been fine. We'll talk about Green Lantern at another point, but that's the kind of era I'm getting at. That sort of cheesy superhero, not campy. They are taking it seriously, but they just haven't got the formula right, and it's amazing. It's such a time capsule of its time period, and that's why I love it.
Right. And I remember vaguely liking Chris Evans as Johnny Storm.
I thought he was quite good in his part, to be fair.
Yeah, because I don't know. At the time, he seemed like a good person to fit that role.
What I wasn't a fan of, though, was Ewan Grufford as Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. I thought he was just kind of sub
Bland,
bland, yeah,
yeah,
subpar,
bland.
not an interesting character.
I think, weirdly enough, to say that he's supposed to be the leader of the group, he's the most forgettable member.
He doesn't really
Right.
do anything.
He just
Like as much as I didn't like it, the part I remember most about that movie is the thing.
yeah.
I remember
Well,
almost nothing of Mr. Fantastic.
what about Sue Storm basically dressing down into her skivvies in public? Just for the sheer sort of shot of being like, we have Jessica Alba in her underwear, guys. Look, let's appeal to the teenage male demographic. It worked because I went,
Well, just for
but
male demographic, period, I think.
Right? Yeah.
yes. But it was like, oh look, Sue's turning invisible. Oh, but her clothes are still there. She has to get rid of them. And then she gets down to her underwear, and then she starts coming back for no fucking reason. It's not even explained why. Like, she's supposed to go nervous, and then that's what makes her go invisible, or just feel a strong emotion. So what happened? When she went to her underwear? Did she just die inside and have no emotion at all? Is that what?
Once she got near naked in public, she calmed down.
So basically, she's an exhibitionist.
Basically.
That's what
she's
the
a
film.
she's a closeted nudist.
So that's the underlying theme of the Fantastic Four: nudity.
Oh
That's what it
man,
is.
but I just remember that one of the parts of the torture scene with Doom and Mr. Fantastic, and it's just like, what happens when you super freeze rubber some shit? And it's just like, what? Why are you giving me a science lesson?
Do you know what
Stop
happens to
it.
a toad when it gets struck by lightning?
Oh God,
The same
talk-
thing, but
Same
happens
thing
to
as
everything
everything
else.
else.
we'll talk about X-Men at some point, but no, I think Fantastic Four. It's not a perfect movie by any means necessary. It's incredibly cheesy. A lot of it doesn't make sense. Like, I'm sorry, they didn't really, as far as I'm aware, they didn't really explain why, like, their clothes can stretch or catch on fire or can turn invisible. It was just like, I've created these suits that on Jessica Alba looks kind of slutty. Oh, really, Reed? What do they do? Science!
No, it's just like
What?
I made these suits, right? I also sent them into space, and they coincidentally got the same powers as us. Sorry, Ben, yours is now made of rocks.
Yeah,
Rock
that's a
band.
point. Why does the Thing in this movie wear pants? What is he
Well,
hiding?
because you can't
No.
see his rock dick.
He doesn't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
one.
We don't
You don't know that.
He doesn't
don't
have
know
one in the
that.
new one.
No, not a new one, but
That's a
different times,
retelling,
man.
though.
Well, if he
Retelling.
doesn't have ears,
No, dude, you don't understand. 2005, ears were out, rock dicks were in.
I never want to hear the phrase "rock dicks were in" ever again.
Then stay away from anything from 2005.
Believe me, I try.
Rock dicks were the big craze.
So, what? I mean, I know it was 10 years ago, but what was everyone's sort of like initial reaction to it?
I
I mean,
remember
I
when
know.
first-
10 years on, we have.
I was 10
We can
years
look
old.
at it. You were fucking. That makes me feel old.
I was 10 and I enjoyed it because I didn't know what movies were.
Yeah, I liked it at the time. I was just like, oh, I remember seeing something where Doctor Doom literally just murders a man.
Yeah, he
And I
puts
remember
a
when
hole
I
through his
s-
fucking chest.
Yeah. And I remember when I saw that as a kid, I was like, oh my God, that's the most hardcore thing I've ever seen, and I enjoy it. Like, it
Wasn't
was
even
like,
any fucking blood, was there?
no, it just looked cool that there was like literally just a lightning created hole in his chest. And it was just like, whoa, this movie's awesome. And there's a guy on fire.
Fire,
was-
yeah.
Dude, that was my reaction to the movie.
Fucking fire!
I don't even remember how they beat Doom.
Oh,
Oh
so
fuck.
basically, what it is, from what I can remember, is right. I think
No,
I'm
oh
trying to
no, fuck!
remember.
I remember now. I remember now. It was like
Okay, you go. You go.
basically, there's this subplot where they're like, Johnny Storm, you're on fire, but don't go too on fire, otherwise you'll blow up the Earth.
Oh God, I remember that.
I forgot that bit.
Right?
Oh my god, yes, yes.
So at the
Don't
end,
go
right?
too
It's like
on
you're really hot,
fire.
but if you go too hot, you will kill everything.
You will. You'll
Like
basically you'll
supernova?
match the temperature of the
Supernova.
sun.
That's
Yeah,
it. If you
that was it.
go supernova.
So
Oh
What a
my god.
throughout this
fucking
movie, they're basically building up the threat of don't go supernova, but then at the end of the movie, they're like, go supernova. And
fuck
then
everyone else. We gotta kill Doom.
he goes supernova around Doom. Like, Sue puts up a force field around that, and then he was doused with cold water from like a fire hydrant, so he just froze. Because of thermal shock. At least I'm pretty sure that's what it was called, like thermal shock.
And then they threw him in the back of a ship.
Yeah, and then it's realized, hang on, he's not actually dead. He's just encased in whatever the fuck.
It's kind of what it is. To be fair, Sam, I think you're making it like there is a real scientific thing to it. It's like when you're welding metal. So they basically melted it. They melted him, and then the cold water is what basically froze him. Right? It's like it's how they make things.
Thinks.
I know that's very descriptive.
Movie magic.
It's better than how do our clothes do this? Science. No, seriously, read. How do our clothes do this? Science.
Magic.
Magic. No, no, science.
Science.
It's all about science in the Fantastic Four. We're
Magical
not.
science.
This isn't Thor, guys. It's Four. You see, that it sounds similar, but
It's
it's
not
not.
it's not Tor, it's four.
There
It's
you
the
go.
Fantastic Thor.
So there is
God, that
science.
fucks with me now.
The Fantastic Thor.
Oh god.
Anyway, I mean, when I first saw it, I was 15. Makes me feel really fucking old now. I was 15, and we hadn't really been exposed to the superhero films we have today. Like today, we have the Dark Knight trilogy.
If you
We
hold
have
it
the
up to the
Marvel
standard of modern Marvel movies, it's bad,
I think
dude.
if you hold it up to the era of superhero films we have now, which are the universe building, Christopher Nolan, Dark Knight Rises sort of films, it doesn't hold up.
Even
But
compared to other goofy movies like Ant-Man.
but the thing is, I think this is what I mean. Ant-Man knew it was goofy, so it embraced the goofiness. Fantastic Four was made at the end of the era where they were goofy, but they were trying to make it serious. They just hadn't perfected the formula. They didn't really know what they were doing.
How do we add serious to the goofy?
So
Badly.
the thing is, guys, you got to remember by this point, the best superhero film we had was Spider-Man 2. Now, no offense to Spider-Man 2, it's one of my favorite superhero films ever, of all time, even to this day.
But we've got a bigger pool of good movies now.
Well, the thing is, saying that it's so good, which it is, it still has its problems. For every
Yeah.
fight, I mean, yeah, it has that amazing fight sequence on the train, but there's still the bit in the bank where Doctor Octopus is throwing coins at him, and then Spider-Man goes, "Here's your change," and throws it back. Like,
I think if any
That-
superhero has an excuse to be snarky and stupid, though, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah, because he's a fucking teenager. Or
Well, he
a
wasn't in
30-year-old man pretending to be a teenager.
yeah, he wasn't in this. I mean, the guy was at a fucking bank with his aunt, who was literally older than time itself. I think she saw the birth of the universe.
And she's
Wow.
somehow his aunt.
It could happen. You don't know.
It's just mother must have been
Anyway.
really old.
I mean, Spider-Man 2 was great, but that was the sort of like it wasn't. It was still had some cheese to it, even though it was really good. That's what you have to kind of compare it That was the era we're talking about. And for where it was placed in the timeline of films being released, I think it was one of the better ones. It wasn't X-Men 2, it wasn't Spider-Man 2, it wasn't even X-Men 1, but we had a buttload of shit come out around that time.
Yeah.
We had fucking, no offense, Sam, but we had Punisher. I think Spawn came out around that
Oh
time.
God, Spawn was terrible. That pissed me off how bad it was, because Spawn is also one of my favorites.
See, this is the sort of level that was the bad level, right? So
And even before that, you had the fucking Batman movie series with George Clooney.
you had Batman and
Ugh.
Robin, which
The
was
Bat
literally
credit card.
that was 8 years beforehand. Uh, it was a very different time period, but looking back at it today, it wouldn't stand a chance. I mean, if that film came out now, it
It was
would
only a
just
couple years after that Ghost Rider came out.
Oh, Ghost Rider was awful.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, it had good parts, yes, but it was phenomenally, like, made up of worse parts.
yeah, like it was a bad era.
Like, as much as I like Nick Cage, not a good Ghost Rider.
Nope.
I've never seen a Ghost Rider movie, to be fair, so I
Good.
can't comment.
Yeah, don't.
But
They get
I mean,
worse, and they start off bad, so.
keeping on with the Fantastic Four theme, though. Had any of you guys read any of the books?
Nope. I knew
No,
nothing.
no, can't say I had.
Well, we can't really talk further, then,
Well,
can we?
had you at all, or?
No,
Oh,
The thing is, it never really interested me. You know what I mean? Like,
The-
I've never been interested really in the Fantastic Four. It's I couldn't relate to any of them. Reed Richards was just a bit too smart. Sorry, I'm just gonna mute my mic,
Okay.
fucking
waiting
suck.
for that to pass.
Alrighty.
It's still going.
Really want some peanut
Fuck,
butter.
Maria Menounos was in it.
Yeah, she was the hot nurse.
Shit the bed.
Maria Menounos.
Melatonin.
Um, no, I had never read a Fantastic Four book. I didn't really. I knew of them, obviously. I knew who they were, but I never related to any of the characters. Reed Richards was just too smart, too old. Sue was a woman. I can't relate to her. I didn't mean it like that, but I just like
No,
you
we
can't.
get what you mean. I don't think even
Yeah,
women
I
would be able to
guess
rate.
the
I don't
wording
think
was funny.
even fellow women would be able to relate to her because she's like too hot.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Jessica Alba.
Not everyone can
The
be that
thing,
attractive.
the thing, I I've never compared myself to a rock. I've never done that
What are you
before.
talking about? You do that all the time.
I couldn't okay, Suplah Liam does it to The Rock, but in real life, Liam, I can't do it to a literal stone on the floor. So I couldn't relate to the thing. And Johnny Storm, he was a guy who caught on fire. In reality, that doesn't sound like it would be pleasant.
Well, true, but in the context of superheroes, very rarely are you able to relate to them because they can do these fantastic things that just aren't in the realm of possibilities. So,
I I related to Batman and Spider-Man even. There was just nothing about the Fantastic Four that interested me.
It's less about the powers, more about their
yeah,
personalities.
exactly. That's what it
Yeah.
was with those heroes. But with Fantastic Four, it's literally just about their powers. Like, I couldn't tell you for the life of me what character complexities the Thing has, other than being
Other than,
ashamed of himself.
which is
I,
like
I,
only
I
in
still
that movie.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty
but
much.
never have I never in any other context have I ever seen the Thing be like, I'm so mad that I'm made of rocks.
Even by the end of the movie, he's over it because he meets up with Alicia Masters.
and
Right.
to be fair, he saves a guy on a bridge. You were giving him a lot of shtick, but he did save a guy from committing suicide.
Yeah, that's one thing we forgot to mention. In this movie, there is a scene where a guy tries to kill himself, but the Thing has to talk him out of it.
And it's
That's
played
pretty
for
weird.
comedy. It's played for comedy as well. That's the weird bit.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
the truly weird bit.
you wouldn't think they would play it for anything serious. No, it's got to be goofy because oh, he's gonna die. Lol, why would you want to die if you're not made of rocks?
It's literally this guy, and it doesn't even explain because the thing is, right? It's not even on like the normal pathway of the bridge that people are on. It's like the bit above where the cars are, and the thing is just sat there, not even explained how the fuck he got on there. And it's shown that the guy can stop a fucking moving truck. How the beam that he sat on doesn't bend, it's never explained. And then there's this guy next to him who, for some reason, didn't even see this giant rock monster and is shocked when he turns around and starts speaking. Literally, like, it blows the guy's mind that this is even happening.
Rock Dick Ninja Man, otherwise known as the Thing.
Literally, he's looking over the side, he's about to commit suicide, and then the Thing's like, hey! And he fucking
Don't do it!
Yeah, and he nearly shits himself. It's like, how did you not see that?
And to be fair, right, this bridge is fucking massive. If I saw the Thing sitting on one end, I'd probably go to the other side. So it just doesn't make sense.
Well, it
Just
doesn't
scoot
even.
over a little bit.
It also doesn't make sense as to why he doesn't just go on the. Okay, so like I said, he's not on the bit where the pedestrians are. He's on the steel beams above where the cars are.
Right.
Right. So that must be what, 15 feet higher. Now, if you're going to commit suicide by jumping off a bridge, I don't think 15 feet would be the difference between life and death. Why did he climb up to the beam that was 15 feet higher? It doesn't make sense. Why not just jump off the bridge where you were? Why climb up to jump down further?
Because you got to make sure you did terminal velocity and fuck, I don't know.
And this incident is what actually led them to be called the Fantastic Four by the fucking media in that universe.
No, not even that. No, it's not the media. Chris Evans' character, Johnny Storm, actually calls him the Fantastic Four.
Oh, fuck, he does.
Because he's the one who gives them all their names. Because there's a bit where they're showing up the pictures. He had just done some stunt and turned into the Human Torch. I'm like, oh my god, that was amazing, Johnny Storm. You're like so cool. Literally, that's literally what they did, right?
It's a bunch of awkward people like, oh my god, you're so cool.
Anyway, they start showing him pictures on the big Titantron of the other Fantastic.
Titantron.
Shut up, right? I'm still in Suplah mode. Of the characters, all the Fantastic Four, and there's a bit where he's like, "Oh, that's the Invisible Girl," and then it cuts to Jessica Alba going, "Girl," like literally, like that sort of like that one time where they try and give her some sort of female empowerment, but it kind of doesn't work because most of the time she's either in her underwear or got her tits out in some scantily clad uniform.
Well, to be fair, I don't think that really holds back her because Black Widow is also in a scantily clad outfit. So
yeah, we'll talk about that as the other point. I'm making fun of this film for now.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So
one stupid thing at a time, please.
One stupid thing at a time.
Can't be too stupid, otherwise you'll blow up the Earth.
Can't go supernova, stupid.
Stupid Nova.
Stupid Nova.
Stupid Nova. That's a new term we're phrasing here on Comics on Comics.
Andy goes Stupid Nova all the time.
But yes, so that was Fantastic Four from 2005, not 2004. It would have made sense for it to be in 2004, though, if it's a Fantastic Four in 2004. But they fucked up because their marketing didn't have any fucking clue, right? If it was me, I would have said, let's get into production a year early so it comes out in 2004. Then it can be Fantastic Four in 2004. But they fucked up. Can't even get the year right, guys.
Also, the Thing became human again randomly, and then he went back to being a rock man.
Oh, fuck, yes. I was going to end the show, but I forgot that. He actually stops being the Thing, and then he's like, I'm going to be the Thing again to stop the thing of the thing. Science. Science. Okay? Because they actually...
Magic, no, science.
I forgot that. Sorry, right, we're not stopping the show just yet. Because Reed Richards actually does create a machine that can take their powers away, and the Thing actually uses it and turns back into a human being, and is like, I need to save my friends. Instead of calling, I don't know, the fucking police, or somebody who can help them, he turns back into a giant rock monster.
It's not even that. It's the fact that this machine, not only can it have the potential of getting away their powers, there's the possibility that it could accelerate them. So either way, the Thing could either be a regular boy, again, or a mountain.
Just a mountain appears in New York.
If I had the choice of a gamble between being a human boy and being an immovable mountain that's now part of the world scenery, I would stay the thing. I wouldn't do anything.
At least you can still move. And you have your rock dick.
And just become literally Mount Rushmore with a moving face.
Right
Rock
in the
Dick.
middle of New York City.
Brilliant.
That's like something out of like a comedy skit where it's just like, I could become a mountain, but I could become a real person. I will try it, and then the camera just zooms out, and then just suddenly, just a mountain appears. Literally, like
Shit!
just a giant.
Yeah, you just hear this
little
booming
mountain.
voice. You just hear this booming voice across Manhattan. Oh, man, Reed,
Build a
help.
bigger machine.
And I just like you go forward like 50 years in the future, and there's like a tour going through the city, and the tour guide's just like, and here we have Mount Rockdick. No one knows where it came from. It just appeared one
Here
day.
we have Ben Mountain. Say hi to Ben.
Hello.
Hi guys.
Can you
Don't
imagine?
forget to visit the gift shop.
And I think we should end it on that note.
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us on our debut episode of Comics on Comics. Join us for the next episode, issue 2, where we'll be talking about the god-awful sequel, the one that even I can't defend, Rise of the Silver Surfer.
All that you know is at an end. Oh.
And it's so silver.
We will see you next time.